Hello, I'm Annette Young and welcome to the 51% and welcome to the 51%, a show about women reshaping our world coming up. A debate in the French medical community as the government prepares to pass legislation that would punish doctors who issue certificates of virginity to young women here in France. Also, how a group of Israeli teenage girls campaigning for the right to wear shorts to school has now turned into a national debate over the growing influence of religion in a country where many still call themselves secular. And we meet the woman behind the Facebook page where Pakistani women are not afraid to discuss traditionally taboo topics such as sex, divorce and domestic violence. But we begin here in France, which is gearing up to pass a raft of legislation aimed to fight against religious and cultural separatism. It includes a proposed law punishing doctors who provide certificates of virginity to young women. Many French gynecologists already refuse to sign such documents, but there are some who do. And they say banning the practice could do their patients more harm than good, as Alison Sargent reports.
Gynecologist Ghada Hatem is no stranger to anxious young women requesting certificates of virginity. She's written many throughout her career and has no regrets.
I believe what my patients tell me. If she says, my brother will beat me up, my father will strangle me, my in-laws will destroy our family's reputation, I have no reason not to believe her. So I say to myself, let's think about this together. What decision will cause the least harm?
To protect her young patients, regardless of their sexual experience, she writes out documents like this one.
Gynecological examination showed no indentation or tearing of the hymen.
Providing such certificates is not approved of by France's medical council, and a future law against community separatism could make it punishable by fine. But this doctor, who herself has delivered the certificates to patients, says that would be a mistake.
Most of the time, young women who come asking for virginity certificates are facing real threats from their families. And it's not rare that after giving them a certificate, we alert the public prosecutor to warn of a forced marriage or of serious violence. It's a way of reaching a population that we wouldn't see otherwise.
Nearly 30% of doctors in France say they've had patients request virginity certificates. Most refuse and welcome the prospect of formal legislation.
The advantage of having it clearly defined by a law is that all French citizens and everyone living in France will know where things stand, and the state holds that this type of practice is illegal.
The new community separatism law will be debated by France's National Assembly in the coming months.
Now to Israel, and in recent months, a group of Israeli teenage girls have been fighting for the right to come to school wearing shorts. This seemingly minor battle, in fact, actually reveals a deep divide within Israeli society between secular and religious views, with how women dress being at the forefront of the debate. This report by Clotilde Rafko and Matthias Somm.
Kay is 13 years old. Underneath her shy appearance, the teenage girl was at the origin of a movement that caused debates in Israel. It all goes back to her return to school after the lockdown.
I was wearing this pair of shorts. At the school entrance, they told us to wait. The teacher took us to the secretary, and we were left there for the whole day.
Kai and her friends were expelled for 3 days because of their clothes. They decided to fight back. The short revolution quickly became national.
We sent the photos to a big Israeli newspaper, and from then onwards, it spread across news outlets on every channel.
One of Kai's pictures made the cover. We can see 5 teenage girls from behind wearing shorts, standing still in a sign of protest. The photo was replicated by others everywhere across the country. In just a couple of days, in dozens of elementary and high schools, Israelis are also getting expelled because of their shorts. Everywhere, gatherings are being organized. What girls are mainly denouncing is the injustice. You're being expelled. Boys, however, face no issue when going to school wearing shorts. The principal refuses to speak up. An education counselor working at town hall, however, agreed to an interview.
We are not facing a case of a teacher telling her students don't come dressed like this. It's a matter of respect. At school, we have to be dressed in a way that is respectful towards the institution. This has nothing to do with modesty.
Why has a simple pair of shorts caused such a stir in the country? Because what is really at stake behind this piece of fabric is the opposition between two Israels, which have been tearing each other apart since the creation of the country more than 70 years ago. On one side, a westernized population with liberal values. On the other, a religious and conservative society. Writings on the walls in Jerusalem even remind women of how they should be dressed to walk around the neighborhood. Israel today is no longer a secular nation. In the streets, in the government, religious people have a say on almost every major issue. In Renana, at the epicenter of this battle between lay and religious, Kai won her bet. However, for Brasha and lots of other women in Israel, the fight is far from over. This summer, thousands gathered in Tel Aviv to protest against feminicides.
The conversation about their clothes is rising each year, as if they are some object that you need to discuss if they are behaved well enough to go into society or not. They're realizing this injustice at a very young age, and they won't be able to turn it off. They'll go to the army and they'll see it, and then they'll go to work and they'll see it.
Amongst the crowd, thousands of Israelis are gathered to denounce the machismo of a society stuck between rabbis and soldiers. The battle is being fought at school, in the streets. Religious people are trying to control the public space. But with their shorts, these young girls are standing up to them. A battle to exist, but non-religious people won't be able to change the nature of their own country. This is the paradox of Israel. Created to welcome the Jewish people, if the Hebrew nation ceased to be religious, it would lose one of its primary and original purposes.
And you can watch that reported segment in full online at france24.com. Now, at a time when Facebook is coming under fire for not doing more to stop racial hatred online, here's an example of the social media platform being used for good. A Facebook page created by a Pakistani agony aunt called Soul Sisters Pakistan is allowing its members to speak openly about issues such as divorce or domestic abuse with a candour that is impossible in the real world. Selena Sykes has the story.
Sex, divorce and domestic violence. These are just some of the taboo subjects women struggle to talk freely about in Pakistan, though a safe space now exists for women to open up. Created by Kamwal Ahmed, Soul Sisters is a female-only website where users can share their problems.
A lot of issues that come about on our forum are around women's health, so maternal health, menstruation, and things like that, which a lot of women don't grow up hearing so much about, because there's a lot of shame associated with a woman's body and with the general bodily functions even.
In 2013, the former makeup artist was inspired to launch the website while listening to clients confide in her. 260,000 users are now signed up. Between them, they have up to 6 million conversations every month. Impressive statistics which caught the attention of Facebook. Soul Sisters received a grant from the social network giant in 2018, which allowed Kamwal Ahmed to produce a show on YouTube.
A lot of people also think that Pakistani women don't have a voice, but trust me, we have a voice. We just don't have enough spaces to use that voice. But again, we know how to find those spaces, and collectively we can pretty much make a lot of noise.
A voice that Pakistan might not be ready to hear. According to the World Economic Forum, it is the second worst country in the world in terms of gender equality.
And that's it for this edition. You can also connect with us via our Facebook page, that of course being France24.51%, or do send us a tweet at _51%. So until our next show, bye for now.